Alrighty, we're gonna continue on to do stuff that we were doing. Great, we have an excellent connection. Well, so now we have a kill ring, and the other stuff that I want to do is simple by comparison, hence the title of the stream. Somewhere in the middle of all that mess, I noticed that Control B doesn't work sometimes. So what is even Control B? If I'm in insert mode, Control B pastes what's in my default register. Very convenient because I don't have to do Control R and then single quote. So let's go and look at key bindings, try to find Control B, go to the top, go to the bottom. It's not that, it's not that. Right, and since what I can do is just remove these disabled ones. And why can I do that? Because all of the defaults are stored in a different file anyway, so it's pretty safe to just delete those that I don't want to use ever for sure, and then maybe keep those that I might enable again. Like this, I highly doubt I would be using. Okay, so if isn't insert, send Control B. If is insert, send Control B. What's the difference between them? Both of them do similar things. How interesting. Okay, let's try to search for Control B. Send key in command line. What do we have here? Command line insert, command line normal, and command line replace. Let's try searching for it like this. So I think what's happening here is that NeoVim mode isn't insert, is being caught first. In which case, in theory, it should be fine anyway, but it clearly isn't. Before we go on any longer, numbered registers. Don't worry, I'm not bringing them back in terms of the kill ring. I don't think it fits. It's just going to be 10 indexes that only stay for the current session. That will promote using the other registers a bit more like for longer times, and use numbered registers for stuff that I really don't care about. But that's later. Hold up, let me drink some water. Right, so let's yank inside of quotes, search for this. Definitely not toggle bold, that I don't care about. So if it is insert and isn't insert, Is this a thing? No, not. Did I just delete? But equals and that is a thing. So you can basically match by regex. Which is pretty convenient. Because isn't insert also means the command line modes, which is not what we want. However, let's yank this to B, and this is the precise situation where I would copy to some numbered register, because I know that I only need that for the current session, so that I can use the other registers for things that I want to keep for longer. And that will actually revolutionize my use of registers, I think, and macros, and maybe even marks. Yeah, okay. So Control B. What else can it do? If it isn't insert, it sends Control B. Now, in reality, is that an issue? Let's go to registers, and Control B will do this anyway. Whether it is insert mode or command line mode, Control B will send the correct thing anyway. So it's okay if we just send Control B. And do we do that? Yes, we do that. We send Control B if we are not an insert, or if we are an insert. We send Control B no matter what. Unless both of these require editor text focus, so we have to be typing in, and something like this is not editor text focus. So then this happens. You have invoked command line insert, command line normal, and command line replace, which sends that. So no, yeah, so it should also work. Right, I can't pinpoint whether it did or didn't work. So I imagine it just did. And I'm going to trust that. Just wanted to make sure that there are no like easy to spot logical mistakes. And it seems like they're not, except I have a logical mistake in this chat, not removing its head. Okay. Numbered registers. Before we like go crazy, let's go to new event first. And what do we have here? A lot of files. It will make sense to put them into folders. So let's let's new registers, and in registers we will create a file called numbered.lua. Okay, so big isn't necessarily registers, but registers is features fixes killring is text objects, I'll consider being that as well. Do I? Let's go to text objects. Yeah, for some reason that feels registery. Okay, so let's move that to registers. A bunch of stuff. So let's gaff. Actually, let's gaff stage new and gaff stage deleted. Nice, isn't it? Actually, gaff on stage added. Isn't that cool? Okay, so before we go in any further, let's make this abbreviation. Git add everything and git commit -am. Let's copy it too. Control X, by the way, by default in fish shell will copy what's in your command line, and you can then paste it and stuff. It's very convenient. So not gam, just gmm. New vim, move register related functions to a directory. But before we do that, let's go to init.lua. Oh, actually, oh, it doesn't scream yet? That's weird. So, plugins, text objects are registers. Obviously registers. And here too. And stage that. Boom. Cool. Let's try no file dot register. Oh, registers. Multiple. Yeah. Oh, and it just stops working immediately. I maybe should like change up the order of stuff, probably, but whatever. Okay, so it seemingly works. Okay. Let's go back to NeoVim. Now we have a registers thing. Let's organize stuff first, and then do other stuff. So let's make a new directory. Options. Or plugins, I guess. Plugins. Okay, move conf plugins. Big is unrelated. Features as well. Key map. options.lua, plugins as they are as well. Okay, and they can be moved to plugins. So let's right. So let's git add plugins and gav stage deleted. God, this is so useful. Right, but before we do that, we have to go here and then it's fixable, by the way, but like, you know? At least not soon. Cool, so what do we do here? First of all, plugins. Plugins as well. Plugins. GMM. Before we do that, we stage this. Okay. Move. Oh, new of them. Move plugin related files to new directory. And I'm doing this specifically because, yes, I'm going to rename each one of these files. Well, almost. I'm going to rename plugins to... Actually, no, the name is perfect. Configuration instead of conf plugins, keymap plugins. Yeah, okay. Let's move to plugins. Move keymap to just keymap. And move conf plugins to just configuration. I separated the commits so it would be easier to tell how they moved and what they ended up being. Configuration. Says no, it should be configuration. And keymap we also changed to just keymap. Hold up, DVB. plugins configuration, plugins keymap, registers text objects, registers, you would never guess it. Plugins keymap. Okay. What now? I think, I think I'm gonna use this bug as a feature right now. No, I thought it was gonna work. So I thought how it would work is these would get add, but this wouldn't. But no, it just doesn't work. Ooh. Right, another thing. I'll explain what that means in just a second. Okay, so let's look at it again. Let's stage this. And this is just gav stage deletions. Really? I don't? Oh, because it included deletions. I'm so glad that I actually put in the error messages here. And let's open this, go to GAF, VF to try to find project, and here it is. Fix relative pathing not working. Okay, we're done here. VF is super useful. I love that. I would usually not maybe have to, but I would open the entire project in VS Code to make that change, but now I don't have to. Alright, okay, so we renamed those. Give new vim. I keep like forgetting to do that, but it's actually super useful and important. Give better names to plugin related files. Cool. And we do the same thing for VS Code. Let's go to NeoVim. We have VS Code functions and mappings. Make directory VS Code. Move VS Code to VS Code. I thought it was gonna work. This will. Really? That's crazy. I'm surprised. Okay, VS Code. Any character and then? Really? That's crazy. You'd think it worked. VS Code. Anything .lua maybe? Or did we already move it there? We did? I guess it worked immediately and I just kind of not noticed it. Right, okay, let's go to VS Code. Move VS Code functions to functions and move mappings or VS Code mappings to mappings, not Lua. And this is where U comes into play. Right now, it took me a second to realize how many dots do I need to put in to go to dot files. What I want to do is U would be Z go up, and W will go up twice, you know? So let's gam, what? Wait, what? No? No. So U is Z go up. W is Z go up twice. U is Z go up thrice. And I don't think we really need to do that more than. And now it's like easier to parse because it's this one extra dot has always been kind of an issue for me. And okay, so let's gaf stage new and gaf stage deleted and unstage this. Boom. Okay. Gaf is like a lifesaver, honestly. But figuring out why it doesn't work with relative paths is going to be very interesting. Okay, so new vim, give better names to VS Code files related. Okay, but we go here, we go here, we go here. Anything else we changed? Yes, and we forgot to stage it. But now it's okay. Now, let's figure out the order of all of these things. Let's go here. That is good to realize. All of these are just functions. It's always okay to include them. Mappings, though, is a different issue. Well, it's not an issue, really, but my question is, what if I add a mapping that relies on a remap and then include the remap after? That's not an issue with VS Code mappings, though. It may be an issue with this. Which also might be untrue, if I really think about it. Essentially, what I want to do is, even if stuff like Fox Solver, I still have like the VS Code related stuff, for example. And so far, I can just straight up do it. I don't rely on any like plugin related things there. Okay, so options, functions, fixes, all that is fine. Plugins, let's move them here. Fixes, text objects. Text objects are okay to be there, but they should probably go to the killring. Remaps. These may rely on plugins, so that's okay. Go. Okay, registers. Ah, yes. Registers killring. Killring doesn't depend on big. It depends on functions, but that's loaded in. Features, big, killring. I think this is reasonable, so registers just goes after. D3 down. Also to killring. Fuck, that's amazing. So, text objects. Let's look at it. Text objects, I thought would rely... Okay, so this does rely on a plugin. What if we put it before? And try to do dem. It still works, even though we loaded it in after. That's very important information. So now I can just load in the plugins as the last thing, and even if my plugins don't work, everything else does. So text objects first shouldn't be first. First should be the remaps, because they basically work for sure. This is pretty much like remaps. Then text objects. Features big and killring may depend on them. They probably don't, though. But this is more important. Okay. Gav stage modified. And GMM. Reorder requires to make config work without plugins. I think that's how you say without actually using the word. Right, so numbered. And throughout that whole committing process, this file is still untouched pretty easily. That's what Gav lets you do. Okay, numbered. What's my idea here? I make quite a few mappings. Okay, so local numbered numbered is table. Hold up, set meta table. I remember. Index is table. I'm fucking getting better at Lua. I love that. Okay. Is there a way to create a Lua table with 10, let's be specific here, why not, with 10 indexes, all of which are empty strings. This is not an expression, so it's easier to just do it manually. Alright then. Really? Change to inside previous capital. I see. Basically, we put this ying find space and 9p. So that should be 10. 5 and 5 again. Okay. Start out with nothing. Then a function that sets, or rather gets from there, and a function that sets default to there. So local, we take this to z. What's in z? Good. Oh, I should have used DAL, huh? Okay, so it's DAL, turns out. I never use DAL. I guess I do have a reason to do that. Okay, so function numbered get index and if if numbered at index equals to an empty string, then print index is empty. And let's actually CS to like decide on one type of quote. Okay, is empty, return end. If it's empty, you probably don't want to override your default register with nothing. No reason to. And I'm not going to add a check for the index because you're just supposed to pick the correct one in your mappings. If you don't, that's on you. Since picking the register is not dynamic, we don't need to make a dynamic check. At least not to the scope of this thing, where if you're using it, you already know why you're doing it. Okay, and then if you have a way to access more than 10 registers, and if you need to, you can just change the meta table. Here you go. Okay, now we have guaranteed that it's not empty, so we just vim function set reg set reg this, and let's actually yank this line and move it to X because I might need it again. See, I'm trying to get used to using registers to just keep text. So the lower range of registers are for keeping text, YUOP are for constant macros, HJKL are for temporary things, ASDFG, I don't think I need them anymore, to be fair. So let them be for text as well. Alright, so this is like snippets, but without having to create a snippet. Numbered index, print grabbed. Cool. Now map in which modes? Normal and visual. Normal and visual. This CS and here. Right, like I should try to use single quote unless necessary. And that ends up being function numbered get at index also one end. YY9P, we go to 1, 8 down, G capital A, not capital, control A. I mean, you can see, but I just like talking through what I'm pressing. It makes it kind of easier. Cool. I didn't have anything in my ring, I just wanted to make sure. Before we go any further, let's write down the changes that we made. Okay, so config works even without plugins because turns out even if you make a mapping that depends on a plugin in a remap type of way, that's okay. It will still work once the plugin is there, and if it isn't, it doesn't really matter because it wouldn't work to begin with, you know. So all of these what happens if I like that's a good question. What? Huh. Whatever. I'm not gonna touch the backtick. My idea was to be able to press single quote or backtick, but that's against the initial design. I think opening the window is a mistake. It's like very loud. Okay. So we can get, but right now we don't have a way to set, which is more important. Let's create it. Function numbered set index, and if numbered index hold up, no. So local register contents is I think this. Almost. Let's see, ink inside capital word and put that to V. Cool. If register contents is an empty string somehow, then print your default register empty, return, and cool. Unsure if this check is needed at all, but if we were gonna overwrite something, overwrite it with something, you know? Alright, what do we know now? We got the contents, we know they're fine. like non-empty, and right now we just, no, not that, we just set, no, not this, that's just local. Numbered at index is now register contents. Print set grabbed stabbed. All right, and now we just take this, go to the end, new line, boop. Okay, we change get, or rather we just jump there, 9 down, E, change to set. Boom. Could have just changed one letter, by the way. Like C, Control V, 9 J. Okay, let's try it out. I think it's fun. C, Control V, 9J, C. Oh, pff, S. Fucking S. Yeah, I like that. Okay. By the way, you can do the same thing with D, for example. So D, Control V, 9J. It's kind of convenient, but it's not as useful as moving away from visual mode usually is, because even if you visual mode this and then D, this is still dot repeatable. So it's like okay compared to the usual situations where doing something in visual mode is not dot repeatable. So we made the take hotkeys. Which one should we use to set? Leader plus numbers? Yeah, leader plus numbers makes a lot of sense. Hold up, we already did this. C, Control V, 9 down, leader, boom. I should get used to using that if I'm just changing one character. Leader and then immediately a number feels very weird, by the way. Okay. By all accounts, this is it. Now all we have to do is add it. Require registers numbered. Boom. Let's try it out. Yank this to the first one, stabbed. Hold up, 2W. Yank this one to like fourth, stabbed. I go here, DRR, registers. So this, let's grab the first one, require, let's grab the fourth one again. Nice. Cool thing about it, I reload, they're gone. Require money, for real. God damn, Ozzy, I haven't seen you in a while. I'm really happy to see you here. We should talk more. I remember you being like super cool. Okay, so now I have 10 more registers that I can freely use. So from 1 to 10 for things that I want to keep, but maybe I don't want to use my kill ring, which is the only thing that I have, and maybe I don't want to occupy some register, some like lettered register, because those are for things that are supposed to stay there. And that's where I use numbered registers, because by default the numbered registers are fucking useless. which is why I implemented the kill ring. Okay, gamp. Neovim, impl, numbered registers. Cool. Yeah, so now if I like want to, like I took this, and maybe I don't want to put it in the kill ring, maybe I'm already using the kill ring for something else, and I just need to keep it for some time. I'm like, okay, go to 1. Okay. Yeah, go to 1. And now I'll have the contents of this. Hi! I'll have the contents of this in my 1 register. Fucking finally making numbered registers useful. And this means I will never have to use the ASDF registers to just keep something for a bit, which I used to use all the time. So that means that I can use them to hold information that I might need like kind of forever. Pfft. Emojis now? That's crazy. Okay, juice? Sure. I guess. Right, okay. Are you coding game hags? I'm not on the Discord server anymore. No. I'm coding for Neovim to try to make some functionality better in it. For the most part, Vim and Neovim are incredible, but some parts of it just make no absolute sense. So there are quite a few registers. There are just lettered ones, and in those you can keep anything you want. And there are numbered ones, and you would imagine that the numbered ones just keep your past accesses to the default register in order. That doesn't happen. They only keep deletions specifically that also are bigger than a line long, making it like very difficult to remember and use. There's also the small delete register that, if I remember correctly, works with C, does not work with capital C, does not work with lowercase s, but works with capital S or something of that nature. Basically, it's so like inconsistent that it's also not worth using. What is that? New construction is good. I agree. Right, so that is done. Let me write this down in my notebook. Numbered registers. Numbered registers used for temporary. Then, okay, then AS Is this difficult to do? Ooh, I know. Okay. ABC? Yeah. Okay, so ASDF ZXCV. Oh, ASDF and G as well. For like text. Y, U, O, P are for static macros. Static macros. As well as B and M. And HJKL hjkl temp macros. Nice. Yeah. So, for example, maybe I do some very common action in some language and I can make a macro for it, maybe on U or Y, and then I can be sure that I will still have it, so I can still execute it like forever until the end of times. HJKL are just for macros that I only need for this situation. They're not general enough where I'm going to need them like later. Hi, what juicy thing you doing today? Yeah, new of him good. Hold up. Okay. That's like... Alright. Yeah, what is this? This is new of him. Neo Vim. Is this Vim? I can't be understood. Do I type normally? Oh, I love that. Yeah, you probably should. Yeah, okay. ASDFG, ZXCV, just hold words. They are static by design, so we don't need to separate them into static and temporary. YUOP and BNM are for static registers, HJKL for non-static registers. Okay, so with this separation, I think I will be able to learn to use macros, to use registers for holding text better. Because what I used to use macros for, or registers for, is to temporarily hold some text because I'm trying to move it somewhere else. Now I have a kill ring that lets me stack text either from the top or from the bottom and take either from the top or the bottom and then concatenate all that text or concatenate it in reverse so I don't need to use registers to temporarily hold text anymore. And all the registers that I have can now be used for something more, I guess, serious. And then if I do still need temporary registers, they are just numbered registers. With this separation, using them, as well as marks, interestingly, will feel much better. By the way, marks aren't stored in registers, they're separate, so you can use marks on all the things that you want without really worrying about anything. But the fact that it was so messy before with registers made me feel like marks are as well, which is not the case. Marks are in the book. Okay, that's true. The tilde, like the backtick, I should say. The backtick character is pretty far away. I know, it sounds very privileged, but I also think I underuse marks because they're hard to reach. So let's go to remaps. And here, somewhere, I probably do my remaps for this. I mean, yeah, if I didn't already use single quote for accessing registers. Hello, backtick, my old friend. So maybe I use backtick for something else in the future. So what I'm thinking right now is leader M is now backtick. So leader M, and then I just press something else, and that feels more convenient. And just M to set a mark. So mark, or other fixes, mark fix. Okay, so remaps, where do we do leader stuff? Everywhere, I guess. What's the difference with that? Ah, I see. GD, what? Well, GD for me is like VS remapped in VS Code for something else, but I imagine that GD takes some motion. Wait, but isn't that just D? What does that do? This should be here. This should be here. GD is go to, oh, so yeah, it is for me as well. But I don't think it's being done often enough to warrant its own key, like singular key. I think that's ridiculous. X, however, is super useful, so I keep it. And capital X just doesn't touch the default register. So yeah, I can do even something like this. But you can remap it to something else and use GD instead of X. And G capital D for X if you want to have them back. No, like, no. GD is perfectly fine as it is. I don't think it's like that needed. GD is super fine in my opinion. Right, so in normal and visual mode, let's put it here, in normal and visual mode, leader M, let's just check if I use that anywhere, leader M. Oh, I do. I miss X a little. I can cope with X with VD. Yeah, VD is not bad, though it does influence GV. Ooh, that's pretty big actually. GV is pretty damn important. Yeah, that's another thing that I don't consider, but I avoid visual mode like the plague, and I think that helps me out a lot. Let's just remove this. I can pretty fastly, it's not a word I know, but I can pretty fastly press this. Nice. Boom. And that just ends up being backtick. And I think marks stay throughout sessions. So let's just mark here. Oh. Ah. Hold up. Leader M. Then. Yeah. So now the backtick is not particularly important or useful, I guess. I'm thinking what other common action I could put on it. Ooh, I can use it to execute register. Pressing shift and 2 is a bit too much. Yeah. So visual mode and normal mode. So yeah, also here, map, normal mode, visual mode. Quote, actually CS, no. Bring me back. Let's put this in single quotes so I can more easily travel with targets, you know, because I can specify what quotes I mean. So this is now this. Nope, not what I wanted to do. So say I record a macro, which I'll do in HJKL because they're like temporary. A hello creates a new line. Hi, boom. That's it. And then I thought I guess I didn't. You would think it would work. What? Let's go to and see remaps. Yeah, remaps should by all accounts work. So it's pretty strange that they don't. Okay, well, I do this. I can move, yeah, pretty easily. I would even say easier, even though I have to press an extra key. I think that's fine, because it's more approachable. However, why does this work? I have no clue. Right. Left even. Okay. That's why. Okay, so I'm basically imagining that I'm not going to be using backtick for marks, because marks are something that you will be doing more often, supposedly. Therefore, it should be more easily pressable. And macros use a bit less often, so it's okay if it's not as easy, but it's still easier than it is by default. Right, so boom. That's so much nicer for macros. Usually macros like are an entire operation. Let's go to H. Adds another thing and map and ends us at here. And actually, yeah, okay. And then I'm just like, no, not this, but this. See, having it be on a single thing is actually so huge. And if we multiply it, it's the same as this. It's incredibly huge. Yeah, somehow, even though I'm pressing another key, this is easier to do than it was before. And it doesn't restrict me to basically only one side of the keyboard, like backtick does, because moving back to the same side after pressing backtick is kinda eh. But with leader M, I can do actions, or rather, move to a mark both on the left side of the keyboard and the right one. And this is just incredible. That's super nice. I think that will help me do more stuff with macros. I'll still keep recording macros on capital R, but maybe I could make the add character in normal mode move me to replace mode. Now, to be fair, I never use it, but I've been like doing stuff that I generally don't use. So maybe it's time to try it out again. Yeah, sometimes I listen to myself and I don't get what I'm talking about until I do. Okay, so let's look at those. Record in visual mode. G capital K. Huh? Uh-huh. Yep. Thanks for fixing it. Yeah, all of these are specifically for normal mode. Yeah. Okay. So now, I'm unsure what capital R mode does in visual mode, and it's not like I want to find out. Because I know that if you do something like this and then R this, you replace your selection with those characters, which is very useful in theory. I usually quote memes by the letter out of habit. I should adjust that. That's like understandable, but like keeping gender in mind when talking, it's a skill straight up. You kind of train it and get better. Because at first, many people are like, well, how the fuck? Like, how do I not speak genderedly? And yeah, like at first it's difficult, but as the more you do it, the better you become at it. It's a skill of respect. So I don't think I want to be able to use capital R in visual mode. Therefore, let's make a map like this, where this is capital R. In Italian, there is no neutral anything. Oh my god. Why? Like, that's so silly. So, the idea behind using R at all is because maybe I can't for the life of me figure out until when I have to see, but I do want to replace this text, for example, right? And then I can, boom. Capital R mode is pretty weird. In Vim, it's like wild. By the way, why do you know Italian? Wait, are you Italian? But when typing English, I forget to address the other person by their gender and fall back to they unless a quote is involved. Same. I also use they if I don't know the gender. And often, like, if I'm on Discord and I need to use my favorite meme, probably, bro really, and then something, skull emoji. Or sis really, blah, 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 skull emoji. I check their bio first, and if they have their pronouns there, perfect, I know what to use. But if they don't, I think I guess. Because, like, it's a meme. I should figure out a way to use that meme without using gender. Inglaya. Inglaya is a non-binary name for sure. Much like sock. Alrighty. So now I can use capital R mode, which, like, it's not like I need ever, really. But cool, like here I didn't have to think until where I have to see. I just could replace some text without thinking that I need to change until the end of the word. It may come in handy. I do indeed hail from the country of pasta. That's amazing. That's really cool. It's so nice, like, to know English because it lets you connect with people all over the world. And people live in so many different countries. It's very exciting. Rather than if I just knew Russian, like, who do I talk to? Russians? I don't particularly want to. Alright, I give Russians too little credit. True, for the most part, Russians are kinda eh. But there are some, like, cool Russians. Unsure how to pronounce their name. Kizlet. That's how I would pronounce their name. But, yeah. They were on my stream a few times. And we talked in DMs. Cool person, even though they're supposedly Russian. Yes, I'm surprised. I'm that Russophobic. Okay, what did I do here? Leader M jumps to Mark. Yeah, there are too many countries. I should STT up another Roman Empire. Yep. And then the Ottoman Empire, or whatever it was. You really messed up there. It smells like really tasty. What the fuck? It's as if they're making... Okay, I have no clue what it is in English, but in Russian it's пирожки. It tastes like, or smells rather, like пирожки, and that is amazing. Right, so leader M jumps to Mark. So because of that, backtick is no longer needed. Therefore, backtick like executes macro. In Z we have local. What happens if we execute Z? Huh. And that's the coolest thing. You can use text as input, like as a macro, and you can use a macro as text. You're not going to want to often, but you can. Right. And since backtick executes a macro, the @ sign now goes to capital R mode. Or I guess I should call it replace mode, because, well, it's replace mode. But capital R mode, for some reason, it sounds kind of funny. Capital R mode. And then you have to like think what that means. And that is exciting as a joke. Okay, so let's just make sure we open every change. Okay, so stage this, and actually the whole file. That is leader M. Neovim leader M is this. Oi, blin. Hold up. Git reset head. Okay, let's redo this. I was supposed to just use GMM. Okay, so neovim leader M is this. Then neovim backtick is that. Backtick is that. And gam. Is capital R. Cool. And then after that, we GP. Yes. Epic. All right, that's very nice. So numbered registers are now implemented, and I did write that down, did I? Yes. Text object for last operated on text. That is going to be incredibly useful, and it's also very nice because it's very easy to make. But let's switch to fish related configuring and coding for just a bit. Let's go to config.fish. And what do we have here? Let's go to fish and touch a new file called abbreviations.fish, and that is the file that we're going to be using for abbreviation. Wait, hold up. I can just dap, move that to the bottom, and that to the bottom, and that. Wow, isn't that nice? This is so fucking cool. And then I can like continue on to do it a bit normally. Delete. And I go to abbreviations, and I just compile. Boop. And it just works. That is exactly what it was before. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow. I love this a lot. I was thinking to make an alias or a function, which are pretty much the same thing, or maybe even an abbreviation to automatically add a new abbreviation. But that would be not beautiful. So I should probably add them myself. Right, so gam, let's go to gam, go here, gn, do this, boom, and alias, fuck these, let's open another, go to config fish, can I do this? No, z.config fish functions. Let's remove, remove usually. What's up with that? Yeah, remove usually abbreviates to trash put, but for some reason it doesn't there. That's wild. What? Why did everything stop? Ah, because I fucking moved the abbreviations to a different file, and now I'm like confused. Why doesn't it work? Okay, source dot config, no, not dot config, prog dot files fish abbreviations. Hold up, boom. Did you know you could do that? Control X, Control F will let you like autocomplete paths, file paths. If it's absolute, then it will work both in NeoVim and VS Code. But if it's relative, it's only really usable in NeoVim and not really in VS Code. Right. Where the fuck am I? Let's go here. Do this. Now this works. Okay. Right, so let's remove this. This. Because what I'm going to be using instead is abra, u is z, go up, I can yank gn, and then gn again, ooh, and I can just place it to the killring. That's an overly complex way of doing it and thinking about it, but as with many other things, it's the most difficult to get used to different motions at first, and then as you discover them, practice them, and get used to using them, you get so much better at it, and keeping all of that information in your head and operating with that information. I am a human. What does that mean? That means that I process information. I'm a information processor. That's all that I am. I am suffering from script paranoia. What is that? I can GF? And that in theory, yeah. And this expands too. Let's GF. What do we have here? Yeah. Fish abbreviation moved out to its own file. U goes up. Nice. So that abbreviation is added, and that as well. Abbreviation file is done. This is a bad idea. We're almost like close to, well, then we have this. Okay, whatever. Text object, new text object, let's create it. Last operated on text. So let's create a mapping for normal. For normal? No, just for, basically I'm reluctant to make, update, improve, and move scripts. Interesting. I'm the opposite. I have script philia. Right? Yeah. What if I make it non-portable? What if it stops working if I move it? See, that's where you just don't care if it works or not. It just needs to work on your current machine, and then you're like, whatever. And then as a second thought, on which you spend the most time you try to make it a bit better. What if I do a big oopsie and accidentally add something that is only in bash? What if you accidentally do a big oopsie and export two environment variables and break your KDE, making you install or reinstall EndeavourOS 5 times, only to then realize you made that mistake only because you ever tried Debian? Now that's funny. Hilarious even. So last operated on text, going to be in visual. I know, right? Like, it's very crazy. In visual mode. Okay, last operated on text. IO, right? VIO. VIO is amazing. IO, and definitely did not happen to anyone here though. Nope. Definitely did not happen. Alrighty. On a serious note, I don't know where to place all my scripts. Really? In what sense? Well, I just have them in my .files repository. Well, not true. And how to share with shared shell dependencies. Well, I would personally just install a shell. Yeah, like if I'm setting up a new system, I'm going to be reinstalling most things anyway. And if I should move all the ones I can to fish, that is probably the case. That way you can just install fish, one of the first things you do, and boom, you can execute everything. And you can make some scripts that are not bash specific, but aren't fish specific either. You can just make them like bash scripts or shell scripts. Basically, scripts that would be supported by either fish or bash. I have a few of them. Shared shell dependencies, I mean scripts that that rely on each other. Oh, I don't think I have that. God damn. Sounds kind of annoying to work with. Right, so I go there to the start, O to the end. When it comes to external dependencies, I can use Nix shell as an interpreter to wrap a normal script. Ah, I like that. Have JQ only inside a script, but not outside of it. What is JQ? jQuery, I imagine? JSON parser magic thing. Oh, okay. I don't know how that works. But if it's just a JSON parser, shouldn't it be kinda simple? I haven't made a parser. Not quite. I guess I wrote a lot of rejects for the tokenizer of a V1 extension to make it work for V2, but not a parser. Still, I don't think that making a JSON parser would be that difficult, considering just how many characters you have to work with, which for making a parser I imagine makes it easier. Oh, it considers backticks as quotes as well. I never really see them, so I don't even consider that. So, right, why am I making these mappings if they're not different? I was gonna ask, like, can I make, hold up, let me cook. Hold up, let me cook again. Can I make this a table to contain both the IO and AO? But then I realized that, why am I even doing that? Makes no sense. Okay, so in theory this just works now. Say I yank this, paste it, and delete IO. Invalid register name. Huh. Why is that the case? Okay, but VIO, no, paste VIO. So that works. Why does DIO not work? Why is it invalid? are marks invalid? Well, okay. I'm fine with just having VIO then. Not really going to try to figure out why it doesn't work. Doesn't seem worth it particularly. Boom, and I'm like, okay, VOD, boom. Just very convenient to have that as sorta a text object. GAMP, neovim, impl. Actually, EV, boop. Let's move that to N because I use that very often. Implement last operated on text object. Kinda text object, almost text object. Boom. DD does itself multiple times. So features is what it would be. Local function DD count and map in normal mode DD count. Okay, so we no longer care, like, if we override the default register, now we can override it as many times as we want because we're using other methods of keeping stuff somewhere anyway. Because I was thinking to make, okay, DD count, let me just explain what it's supposed to do. Right now, if you 2DD, what I expect to happen or want to happen is for it to delete a line twice. What it does instead is delete 2 lines, which is not what I want. Maybe I want this new line gone overall, I don't want it, but this line I actually want. In this case, I would do 2DD, but it doesn't do what I want. So DD count will just repeat DD instead of being smart, because by being smart it ends up being annoying. So for one vim v count 1 do, oh, for I equals 1 and feed keys DD, or I guess command normal DD. And that should be it. Let's try it out. 2DD does shit all. Does literally nothing. Okay, that in that case, feed keys DD. 2DD. Nice. Now it works correctly. What if we like 4DD? Yeah, that works correctly. 2DD. Cool, nice, I like that. Great. And now I can impl this. I'm getting like nicer at all the interactions that I've built up for myself. I'm already noticing how much more comfortable I'm getting. Okay. So DD takes count correctly because the amount of times I wanted to just dd twice is way more often than me using dd to delete 2 lines together, because I would just use DJ, which is easier to press anyway. Aside from that, let's look at glow. Last operated on text object. Okay, so IO or rather VIO selects the last operated on text, the last operated on text, and U is equal to go up thrice. Cool. Epic, even. Scrollback buffer and kitty saved in a file, I think. Okay, that's boring. So you can make it so when you use the scrollback in kitty, you could make it so it's being shared between multiple sessions of kitty, and it like is stored in a file. Therefore, once I boot up kitty again, the scrollback is still there, which, now that I think about it, is very helpful and very useful. Let's go to kittyconf then. Make this a bit bigger. So scrollback buffer, scrollback lines. I think I have that changed. I do. 10K. Scrollback pager history size. Can I go back? Okay. History size. Scrollback pager history size. Separate scrollback history size used only for browsing the scrollback buffer with pager. This separate buffer is not available for interactive scrolling, but will be piped to the pager program when viewing scrollback buffer in a separate window. Its current implementation stores data in UTF-8, so approximately 10K lines, and that is in lines per megabyte at 100 characters per line for pure ASCII unformatted text. A value of 0 or less disables this feature. The maximum allowed size is 4 gigabytes. Note that on config reload, if this is changed, it will only affect newly created windows, not existing ones. My question is, does this store it in a file or in memory? Scrollback lines. Oh, memory is allocated on demand. Nice. We can bring it back to 2K and make this like 5 megabytes. Or instead, let's make this Boom, copy. I do this so often that I want to make a thing that lets me paste a character-wise register on a new line. You know? Well, first of all, let's do it. History size 1 in megabytes. So per megabyte. So around 10k lines. Boom. Let's restart the config. Right, so how would I go about it? Kitty add so I access some register. If I access some register and then use P, that means that yes, indeed, you paste from that register. But if you put like O and an escape in there, then the register that you just used is irrelevant. Or say do the system P VIO DO. That's very silly. That is super silly. But it works. Let's go to features. Local, I don't need to make a mapping. I just need to make a mapping. Right, so in normal mode, this and P. Well, okay, so what do we do here? I don't know if there's like a way to figure out what register we put in before. So yeah, let's do it the stupid way first. We use capital P because it usually works better. V, go there. O, go here. D, O, escape. P. Wow, that's so silly. But I think it works. So this is still, right? I do. Oh, that's so silly. It jumps around in an annoying way, but that is incredibly useful because we do this and then just this, boom. I think I'm fine with it though. It's not the most, I guess, nice in terms of how it looks, but it gets the job done in a better way than O Control B does, because that is just a bit annoying to press, and this kind of action I would want to feel like I'm pasting in a different way rather than doing a whole nother operation. Basically, this mapping fixes my incorrect paste. Okay, so NeoVim implement. By the way, this should be answered. Hold up. Yeah, okay, so we can do it with lowercase p as well. Right, implement p pastes character-wise on next line. What do we do? Scroll back pager history size is not really something that will change much, so I don't want to write it in. However, oh, DD takes count is already mentioned in my notes. Okay. Bracket P to paste on a new line, and in a similar fashion, you can probably guess what I want to do. We can do it up as well. Huh? What? Okay, we do this, capital P, V go there, V go there. Oh, V go there. Ah. I didn't consider this. Like special marks. Special marks I still want to work how they did. So let's go to registers, because marks is kind of like registers in a sense. Map. Okay, so this is well, this, I guess. Well, hold up. Right, because it ends up being that. Huh. Mm-hmm. Oh, actually, this. Boom. And those are the only two, like, special cool things that I ever consider. However, we can also make this to mean this. It's very useful, I just don't like using backtick and then caret. Let's reload so I can show you what I mean by all of those. Let's go V like 2GM. We got something selected. Oh, that's so nice, so much nicer. Okay, so that works as well. Nice. And I didn't type anywhere. Okay. Nice, 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 nice. So this now also should work. Or no. D-O. Ah, I changed the O in an incorrect place. In an incorrect, wow, that's a lot of N's there. Yank this and then boom. Ah, that's so nice. That's so incredibly useful. Because O this, or O this, or O this, I do that a lot. And now I have a way of expressing it in a normal mode type of way. Something like leader P is easier to press, but then I think opening square bracket is better. Why don't you check out cargo script? Is that like being able to use Rust to make a script or something? Can you elaborate on it? Well, hold up. Oh, you mean like you won't elaborate on it? Lol. So, if you didn't know, I can yank this, and then if I paste it normally, it still uses the same indentation level, but if I use closing square bracket P, then it auto-indents. If you didn't know, I severely recommend you to remember that, because it's actually pretty damn useful. So that's the reason I picked the opening square bracket to implement like similar functionality. However, it works weirdly if your thing is line-wise already. But that's fine. Right, so actually just new of him, and let's yank a line and move that to N, and boom. Now in the N register I have a literal string new of him colon space, which is more useful than you would expect. Okay, new of him. Hold up. thing about cargo script, that sounds like a great idea. However, I already have fish. Now, to be fair, Rust is better than fish, but they are for different purposes. If I'm like scripting something, I don't need the complexity that also gives me safety. Not really. What I'm using a scripting language for is to program easier, which also sometimes ends up being harder, but but what if your fish leaks memory? I could not care less, honestly. Do not care. For something written in fish, it's like, okay. Another thing, it's if it's like a whole program, then yeah, I would like to know about memory, how and where it's stored, how it's handled, and so on and so forth. For some reason, they're in different kind of sections for me. What did we just do? Fix broken marks. Special marks. Yeah, scroll back buffer and kitty saved in a file, I think, and we can do 2dd, and we still have it. Interesting, like, move. Yeah, scroll back buffer and kitty saved in a file, I think. I still don't know. Right, and this is like a whole ass idea for a different stream. I'm not gonna torture myself again, like over streaming. Especially considering that I already streamed for 2 hours. Right. So, what did we do? Bracket P to paste on a new line. Oh, right. Remembered what I wanted to do. I wanted to read the docs on like opening and closing square bracket to see whether maybe they have something more useful I could use. But for now, backtick, comma, and period for selection, backtick slash, forward slash, last GI. I'll understand what I mean by that, because I use GI pretty well, like pretty often. Let's go here, open NeoVim, and I think this is how you do it. Yes. Or no. So there's a way to regex like there's a way to regex search docs, and in the docs, on docs, it said that this is the syntax, but apparently not. A collection is a sequence of characters enclosed in a square brackets. Matches any single character in the collection. No, that's not what I wanted. Let's just search for this. Okay, square bracket commands. Note action in normal mode. Define, don't care. Jump to the first line in current and include files that contains the word under the cursor. Start searching at the beginning. Too specific. I don't use whatever language that is, probably Ruby or something. Cursor to previous lowercase mark on first non-blank. Oh, cursor to previous lowercase mark. Nah, interesting idea, but I would rather just remember what marks I set and go to them specifically as I want. Cursor n times back to unmatched this. That is so specific. Same as this. Oh, right, you can use those to jump to C-like comments. One. One cursor to previous lowercase mark. Yeah, nah. Starts with a C comment, yeah. List all defines. I don't use C. All lines find too specific. Same as... Oh, interesting. What does this do by default then? Sections is a very hard to understand definition, so I don't want to use it. Backwards to start of change. Huh. Cursor n times backwards to start of change. Now, what does that mean? Let's say I went to this address, like C. Does shit all. Does nothing. Okay. Is there anything here that I found interesting? This I already used and have been using. It's like in my memory I know that it exists, and I do use it when I figure out that I should, so that's okay. This I want to figure out what's up with that, so the default of that. No defines, same as GF. Explain GF, please. Yeah, too specific. Member function is too unspecific, like capital P, but adjust indent to current line. Oh. What does... Okay. Adjust indent to current line. That I don't care. Or that. Or that. I'm not using the fucking mouse. That is nah. Those are just the same thing. Wait. Oh. So they're the same thing. So it is okay that I use the opening square bracket. Okay, I thought it wasn't. I see. So that's all of them. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Cool. So I can use it. However, yeah, I should get used to using them. I was gonna think, oh, maybe I use something else, like maybe like ZP, but ZP is probably already used, and then leader P, but then I have an unmapped opening square bracket thing, but a mapped leader P for something. It's kind of weird, basically. So I should just get used to using those kind of default motions. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So I know all the useful square bracket thingies. So I can use them to jump to comments, which I would probably do by just searching at this point anyway. And that's kind of it. Using them as separate keys may be a good idea. But not unless I have a very good use for them that makes sense and is directional. Looking at them, trying to think of something. Let's go to VS Code mappings. What does ZP do? Accept merge incoming. Okay, let's be realer. I essentially don't do anything with merge things yet. Not often enough to have mappings for them. Like, come on. Okay, all of these I do indeed use very often. So now ZP is not taken. What I'm thinking of is making, what are they called? Curly brackets. Basically go here, but end up here. And square brackets are just what these are right now. But replacing a default to this extent, is it a good idea? It is, in the sense that this will now just become this, and that is huge. So let's go to remaps, or rather registers, where, okay, this is fine. Remaps, maybe? Not even sure what I'm looking for, gonna be honest. I'm looking for features, I think. Features. So this will use Z. No, it will use, oh, it will use leader. So leader P will now do that. Okay. And ZP, is that a feature or a remap? It's a remap in, I think, every mode. Yes. So ZP now becomes closing bracket P to FP. Boom. And in features, somewhere here, I'm not sure where it is, so let's actually just search for it. RG. Right, what am I searching for? A remap that has this, or rather, this and this. Nice. It's in text objects. Wouldn't think that, to be fair. Mm-hmm. This. This. That. And that. Boom. Boom. Huh. It seems like I have some more remaps that I'm not even aware of. And a word character. Let's go to specifically NeoVim and redo that search. No, it doesn't seem that way. Huh. Maybe instead of a word character, just dot. Oi. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Plugin schema. No, it doesn't seem like I have any remaps for those. Yet they act as if I can't use them. Super weird in my opinion. What do you mean I'm already at the oldest change? I guess I did. Yeah, I guess I did do that. Meter. Yeah, okay, so let's bring them back to what they were. Well, okay, they can be convenient to implement more things that need direction. Rather than having to press shift somewhere, you would just specify the direction by pressing the correct square bracket. Do you know Babelfish? No? What's that? Or is that like a real fish? Babel sounds familiar, like it's a word that means something. Basically, any shell script that you pipe into it will be translated to fish. Oh, cool. Let's search for it. Babel fish. Hold up. Did you troll me? Not that one? Okay. For PostgreSQL. Hmm. Cool. Parses the script using this and then translates bash expressions to the equivalent fish code. That's it. What the fuck is this? Okay. Probably still a lot. That's super interesting. And it's kinda unknown too. I have notifications. I'll read those later. Okay. Interesting, super interesting. Right, what are the changes? First of all, gam. Ой, нет, не gam. Stage this. GM. Remove, merge, remaps for VS Code. Then remaps and features. GAMP. Wait. Special base use Z and leader. Right, so I have a few directional thingies and they all should be in big. Right, so we have search for selection. That makes sense to be on leader. This, however, should absolutely just be on brackets. Hold up, change Control V down to this. Right, so F goes forward. Oh. Both of them go forward, and these go backward. So we can move them back to be lowercase, making it a bit easier. Okay, and that's it. Let's look at all the times I use leader and then some character. Actually, just leader. That is fine. Ooh, however, I could change them to be the same bracket and then shift that. That's going to be easier to press. The string collect or hello is confusing me. Really? Where? Do you know why it does that? On the page. Hold up, I think you're like talking in the past. Or I guess I am in the past. Let's look at it. Can I do that on stream? Oh, this I see. Right, so we export this, which is this. We do this, and we string collect. If this entire thing is false, we make this variable be nothing. Is that a good explanation? So we need to get a value for this. If this is empty, we echo nothing, therefore this is nothing, which I didn't know you could do. I thought you had to put an empty string, so 2 quotes with nothing in them, but you can just echo. I didn't know that. So this is kind of ass. Wouldn't being empty also be enough? Good question, maybe not. So echo still makes it an empty string. If you remove this, it's not an empty string, it's unset, which is different. So I think that's how it works. I could be wrong on that. However, this part is weird because I would personally just use this character twice and remove this. This is like a bit weird, kind of non-fishy. But it might be there because, no, I guess not. Oh, that's the output, I see. Prints it to std out. Okay. So yeah, that's the explanation. Okay, where were we? Text objects. Not unset. Really? Oh, so in the Bash version it would also be set, but to nothing, not unset. Yeah. It would be an empty string. It's easier to work with if you don't have to check for validity of a variable, but only if it's something or nothing. Didn't know that was possible. Yeah, it is. Well, in Fish at the very least. In Bash, I guess so. Fish is a bit more understandable in terms of how variables work. They're a bit confusing still compared to other languages, but way easier to understand than in something like Bash. Right, so let's search for leader. CGN. This. Oh fuck, I'm having deja vu again. What the fuck? Why do I keep having deja vu? It's crazy. So we can either just do a curly bracket to go like this, or like this, which is way easier to press than also using leader. I go here and I take a line, boom, I don't. That's super nice. So let's do this. Open it again. GM. I'm getting faster at like all the things. Exclusive. Next or previous blank line uses this. What else do we have there? Oh, okay, so in Bash, A is that only sets it if was already set. Otherwise it doesn't even set. That's kinda annoying. Not even kinda, that's super annoying. That's wild. That's super wild. Fuck Bash, honestly. What I'm looking for here is things that are directional. And that is directional. But leader C and leader capital C is easier to press. Unless... yeah. Okay, in that case, let's go to remaps. C. Yeah. V. Go here, CGN. Or here and here. And this is now lowercase. So, oh, but C is actually used. So let's change both of those to R to mean rejects, and now it actually makes more sense, not less. I can still use C. Oh no, I'm wrong. C is unused. It goes to the next change, which didn't work for me. But still, rejects makes more sense. So if we reload, let's forward rejects and backward rejects. Very nice. What else do we have here? Those are not that, and that's it. Okay, yeah. Directional leader remaps use now. Okay, let's look at this. Remove merge remaps. I don't even remember them, so I don't need to write that in. Special pastes use Z and leader. Okay, so Z P, capital P, based on a new line, and then leader P, capital P, adjusts indentation. Actually, the other way around. Yeah, the other way around. Let me cross that out. I know fish kinda well, but bash I pretty much don't know at all. I jumped to fish pretty early on. I didn't really attempt to learn bash because it was so insane. And I'm pretty glad because thanks to using fish, I can actually somewhat program in a shell language. Sometimes making some pretty impressive things. Okay, boom, that is now written in. Exclusive next or previous blank line uses that. Okay, so that Z shell Y bash fuck works, fish happy. True. But I mean, well, if you're using a bash shell, you might as well use Z shell. Z shell is just better. Z shell is bash but better. But fish is just like a good shell, finally. I would never have thought that programming in a shell language would be enjoyable at all, but I actually quite like programming in fish. More so than programming in Lua, by the way. Even though Lua is supposed to be the more powerful language, no, I like fish more. And before I release cache. Alright, so those exclusive blank line, that I feel like I'll remember pretty easily and fast. Those rejects, I do actually have a project to rewrite shell in Rust. Yeah, I actually feel you on that. I've done that with my git status part of the shell prompt. I had something along the lines of it written in fish, I think. I could be lying right now. And then I wrote it in Rust. Sometimes fish is just not enough for the rising complexity of some sort of issue. But if you rewrite it in Rust, now it's just super nice. Literally rebuild that part of POSIX from the ground up. Jesus Christ. To that extent. I guess that's why people keep remaking everything in Rust, so that I don't have to deal with dash, bash, Z shell, etc. Oh, that's also a good point. Fuck 'em. For real, yeah. I heard dash is kinda good though. But like, fish exists, you know? Your shell isn't just like configuration and speed, it's also the programming language. It's the least worst. Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's the best way to explain it. Directional rejects bin cache for the win. Wait, is cache real, by the way? Oh, or are you going to name it that? Because that's an amazing name. It's probably taken though. There's probably already a cache shell. Like, it makes so much sense. And it's also very, like, flexy. So it's probably taken. Like, for a shell specifically. If it's taken for another project, whatever. But for a shell, that's a different question. Then brackets F, directional, rash, wash, lash, mash, goddamn. They all end in sh, which is like cute and cool, but kinda restricted. Maybe even unnecessarily. Where's a shell that doesn't end in sh? I was just writing with a pen, and I immediately thought, oh, I should press Ctrl Y to copy the character from the upper line. Fucking brain rot. Bish. That should also exist. Directional register. Dish. Okay, dish I like. Damn. Damn should consistently leak memory, so it like overflows like a dam. Bush. Squash. Squash is just a way to merge. At that point, what are you doing with those names? Plus it's too long. And then directional S and directional register. Crush, push, lush. Holy shit. I can almost guarantee that those words are not coming out of your brain, but you searched them up. And if they are, then holy shit, I wouldn't be able to. Fetish. What are you using? The fetish shell. Ah. Goes away. There's some way to get diff between two commits. Let's try that. Get diff head uppercase, head parent, and head this. I'm not sure if that's how it works. That's exactly how it works. I didn't know that. Wow. Right, so that is written in and that is written in, and those are the only changes. First time I've ever trying it, but it's actually so incredibly useful. Wow. Nosh exits as the first instruction. No shell. Okay, that's the best one so far. At least the funniest one. No shell. And then in a comment it says fuck you. Oh gosh is also good. gosh, it's like going to be a very like posh shell, or posh too. I got many more names. God damn. Alrighty. Let's try this out again to get used to it, I guess. So, boom, forward rejects, backward rejects. Let's yank R. Oh, that's actually super nice. And then let's yank map so we can change direction, and then we can even do this, but not this, interestingly. I could call it a shell, which when pronounced in Italian means armpit. That's funny. Registers. I'm surprised that it's not in registers. Because it's in features, because it's a feature. Fair enough. It's not a feature? Damn. Forgot rush. If that is not the fastest shell, I would be disappointed. Where the fuck did I put? Oh, in big, because I implemented, of course. So going backwards and using \E doesn't work anyway. Why do we have a mapping for it? Right? And this should be leader because it's a singular thing that doesn't change. Niche. Okay, what is niche supposed to mean? Ah, okay. That's kind of whack, but all right. So we can do this to go to the end. Kind of strange. Cache. Huh. And that shell basically uses a lot of your memory to, I guess, cache results. If it doesn't, it would be weird. Never accesses the draw. Oh my god! Okay, not to that extent. I'm not gonna turn my system into a fucking live boot. Only wrap, god damn. Oh! Cache would be the shell that would be installed in some distributions live boot. For no reason whatsoever, but could be. Yeah, so leader S and something only goes forward because it can only go forward. But if I want to go to multiple directions, I can. Cool. In fetish, the commands keep changing to appease the masochist. Lol. You try to use CD, but now to use CD you actually have to use touch. So stuff like that. That is terrible. That could like be a challenge. I try to program, but my shell keeps messing up the commands. And like anytime I reload my shell, I have to relearn the new ways they get like randomized or something. Jesus Christ, that's so dangerous. Try to use echo? Sorry, cat. Nice. Search for register. Goes to leader S. Doesn't work anyway. Backwards doesn't work anyway. Boom. Right, okay, so boom. Hold up. What would that do? And actually, you made me remember something. Oh my god. Thank god it doesn't automatically alias remove to remove for real, which I do. Well, my remove ends up being trash put. And then I have to press F for it to be a remove for real. Because otherwise, it's like, goddamn. Init.lua, does this work? Or this work? Don't alias trash through rm. Well, yeah. You should definitely not do it the other way. That would be ridiculous. All right. How do we like take a file and like do this into a command? Sorry, I meant remove to trash. Remove trash is meant to be used as alias. Remove to trash. Is that like there? Well, I'm using trash put, which is like the thing. Boom. It works, so I'm not sure why not use that. Remove trash has the usual remove flags. So does trash put. Oh, so do you mean like you can put the I flag and the F and the R in remove trash? Because I've always been annoyed by essentially having to use FR for real. Like, to use remove, I pretty much have to use for real. That's just annoying because I try to delete something, like, right, without any flags, and then it's a directory, and like, oh god damn it, I couldn't delete it because it's a directory. Now I have to redo the command and do for real. It's just kind of annoying. And maybe I didn't use F and it failed for some reason because it's not empty or something, like some bullshit like that. So I just end up always using for real if I'm removing. Trash put does that automatically, which I like. It's finally not annoying. Cool. Now my directional thingy is like more directional. I don't have to do something like leader and then shift F. This and this is easier. Still takes some time to get used to, but it's pretty reasonable. And then since I can only go forwards with backslash, or rather /E, might as well do it this way with the leader, so it's easier. Okay. Yeah. Is that written in? Not quite. The leader S change isn't. Well, leader S in that case hasn't changed. I can't stop the metal song in my head. How do I deal with it? Usually I just turn on music and like make it really loud and I fucking tweak over it. To like really enjoy the music and feel it like very intensely. And then I get that sweet release of, okay, I'm fine now, you know? Basically let yourself like go crazy with it. By the way, there's this thing. I consciously develop a British accent in some words that I say. And I think that's kind of fun. Like, it's something that you can do straight up. Just develop an accent for yourself. Especially if English is not your first language. Right now, like if you're learning English and you're not quite fluently speaking, this is the time to just pick your accent. Pick any accent that you want and practice it and just take that accent and use it. It's so OP. If you like grew up in something like Texas, ain't no way you're gonna be able to just change your accent. But if you're learning English, like not when you're 0 years old, boom. But then the pop music starts. The accents? Lol. I just want to like pick a different accent for almost every word, simply depending on how I want that specific thing to sound like, so that when I meet new people, they cannot figure out for the life of themselves what accents I'm actually using, because I don't know either. I mean, I could pretend to be French by just speaking French, accessing English in an English context. You could, true. Because the usual American will have no clue. I feel like. Right, so brackets R is directional regex, brackets F is directional search for register. Cool. Yeah, cool. Epic, even. I would want to learn the Australian accent to understand what the hell they're saying. True, it's such a ridiculous accent. And the accent is only one part of it. They also have a lot of words that are just ridiculous as well. It's captivating. I'm realizing now that I spent almost the entirety of today just configuring new them, which is crazy. Like, let's look. So, like 3.5, so 6.5 hours I've spent on that today. Wow, that's insane. Or maybe the last stream was 4.5 hours. I don't remember. Was it like 3.5 or 4.5? Well, whatever. Basically, a lot. The Welsh accent is pretty enjoyable though. And the Welsh language as well. It's very like, wow. That probably is the priority. I guess the only place I've heard the Welsh accent in is Elden Ring, and yeah, it sounds fucking badass. I don't think I've heard a Welsh person like speak with an accent, with the Welsh accent, so I don't know what it sounds like. Yeah, Pirani and a lot of other people there too, I'm pretty sure. A lot of them have Welsh accents, which is so cool because it's like an underrepresented place in the world, which is very cool. Although I did play XB3 before that, so I recognized that immediately. What's XB3? Xeno Bastards 3. Okay, yeah. That's Xeno Bastards 3. Okay, Xeno Cunts 3 then. And a pointer. Okay. You do reference a pointer of Xeno Cunts 3. Gotcha. XBC 3. I don't know that. You say also known? To you, I guess. Not to me. I have no clue what that is. I got a third of the name, right? Huh. Ah, I see. Xenobastard Cunts 3. Gotcha. What is it? I could have never guessed. I have never heard of that game. Ever. So I have no clue. Ooh, I know. Will this ever stop? Yes, no, features, actually. We'll go here. And instead of P, this P. So it's indents as well. We yank this. Well, at least it's supposed to. If we boom, ER boss, enter the Rungeon, the enter of Ryzek. I also played Terraria. Okay, what is ER then? Entity. Oh, and Elden Ring. God damn. All you abbreviation using motherfuckers. I guess I'm also one. I use abbreviations quite a lot. I haven't actually played the game. I watched a streamer play the entirety of it. So I don't remember. The fucking intergalactic bro. What do you mean played? I have a laptop. It can barely run Enter the Gungeon. Okay, not barely, but it struggles sometimes. I have no fucking machinery for Elden Ring. Or I'll make you program some Lua. I've been doing that for 6.5 hours today. Cloud gaming is a thing. If I could pay for it from Russia. You see, I have no walls to go through here. I have no way of playing that game. Some more Lua. Oh no, I'll cry, I guess. Commit some tax evasion and buy a Steam Deck. I don't even pay taxes because I don't have a job even. So I'm that poor. I'll tell you how much money I have right now. To make sure you understand just how poor I am. Jesus fucking Christ. I have negative 2,100 rubles. Negative, mind you. Unsure how much that is in dollars. But like, yeah. Honestly, unsure how I'm going to get out of that situation. I thought I spent less. God damn. And I have 4 days to bring it back. Sell your soul or something. I think I already did. Already done. Okay, yeah, that's true. Well, I sure hope I'll be able to pay that back because goddamn. I thought I had more money. Let's check my balance on another bank because maybe I have some money just on a different bank. No, I don't. I do not. Damn. That fucking sucks. What also sucks is that... Oh, wait, no. What I wanted to do is this, to undo this change. Open an OnlyFans and show sick fish scripts on there. Matter of fact, I would gladly sell actual nudes, but then again, how the fuck do I receive the money? If I could just use my bank to receive money for my OnlyFans, I would have been having an OnlyFans for some time. Bitcoin. Is that even worth it? That sounds like so annoying to deal with that I doubt it's worth it, especially considering how unstable cryptocurrency is and whether I could even like put it into actual rubles on my bank account, which I doubt. It doesn't seem worth it. Maybe I'll figure that out eventually, but I don't know. The less you use it, the more unstable it gets. I don't think it depends on me. It depends like on all the people that use Bitcoin. Currently, I'm thinking like, how do I... Can I somehow yank this and yank nothing if... Nah. Bread was 30% less last year. Oh, Jesus Christ. God damn. What I'm thinking of here is to somehow make the based on new line thing auto indent. Why am I pressing escape? You dumb baka. Right, like instant ramen was 3% more, so we good. Nice. But it so shouldn't be eaten, like incredibly, like super don't. Actually, let's do this. Escape P, let's replace it with... No, you don't. You eat it, and then you pour the liquid down the toilet because it's way too salty slash fucking unhealthy and so on and so forth. If you're talking about instant ramen, the food is literal plastic that somehow has a flavor. I guess I'm talking about the Russian instant ramen, which is just horrible. Maybe it's better in Italia, but I doubt that it's better to a considerable extent. Wait, you have to pour water into it? Yeah. Yeah, obviously. You boil it in water until it gets ready, and then you have that ramen in water. Or you act like a 14-year-old like schoolboy and just eat ramen raw. The block of ramen just, you know? I drink the ramen itself after melting it for 3 hours or sitting in the pan. For what? That's very new to me. That's like super new to me. Alright, Control R. This. Whatever. This last two were had 3 jokes. Oh. See, I didn't get it at all. We can do Control R and then also Control P to make it auto indent. If you didn't know, you can Control R, Control P, and then something like this, and it would auto indent in theory. Right, this. Let's try this again. Get block, YGN. We go here. Boom, works now. We should also press escape. Should we? but the message oh boy, dude send a 0 width joiner. That's crazy. Huh? What's up with that? What's up with that? That's crazy. Should I leave myself in insert mode? No. Because when I do that, I expect to end up in normal mode. Even if that's not what makes the most sense, it's what I expect. The message was basically I meant it with you drink it, as you can either say drink or eat ramen in Italian. I think that's the same case in English, right? No, it isn't. Could be though. Like, so what if it isn't? It could be. Yeah, I like this a lot. And then if I need to edit it, I can do it from normal mode. Okay. Leader PP indents correctly. I consume the meal. True. And now that means I should also go and consume a meal because I actually did everything that I wanted. So let me write down this thing as well. So I'm gonna write this down and then end stream. So leader PP, which is incredibly hilarious. Let's not underestimate that. Except I didn't do anything. That's fine, that's super fine. Maybe I got some ideas, maybe you just rested in an environment that feels like comforting. So if it feels nice, I think it's worthwhile for the most part. Leader OF PPS. I don't think it does anything by default. Hold up, OnlyFans, PP show, boom. Okay, so leader PP indents correctly. The leader of PP. Ah! Okay, that's simpler and makes more sense. That's literally me though. Leader PP adjust indent. ZPP. ZPP. Lol. I should like get to actual programming soon. Not saying that this isn't actual programming, it is. Just something a bit more big in scale, like Alien Temple. I should get back to that. I was really sad when I discovered OnlyFans did not sell fans or ACs. The summer was melting me. The summer was like horrible. It was so hot to the point where I just had a bowl of ice and my I had a thing that blows air, but not cold air, just air, and I had it blow like air over the ice. It wasn't very effective. But finally it's not that hot anymore. Right, so Z BP, very, very funny. Adjusts indent, and that new line. Boom. I think let's see the oldest thing that I wrote into my notebook after starting streaming. Yeah, holy fucking shit. I used 1, 2, 3, 4 pages, and now I'm on the 5th one. And all that was done on stream. That's insane. Now, what's also insane